We on?
Yep, you on.
Okay. Well, this is 2001, and it's interesting that the 2001 is the millennium, not 2000. And like I think I said in February when I was here, they had a whole campaign to do the millennium all around the world, and I don't know how they got other people with different calendars to agree to do their little stuff, But, they had that whole millennium thing all around the world. Africa, China, you know what I'm saying? All over the world. South America, Mexico, everywhere, doing their celebration at the same time on the doggone whiteboard calendar. And here we got people that's indigenous and old, millions of years. And yet everybody celebrated it and all. But yet we even know that even the Chinese calendar is like 4 years up ahead of this as far as 4 years up ahead of this. It was like 2000 maybe 4 years ago. And that's a very one that's close to one of the much more ancient ones and stuff. But but they would convince somebody around the world that we gonna set this 2000 thing. And yet the 2000 starts with the millennium, which is this year. You know what I'm saying? As far as the millennium starts on 2001. But if you go even greater than that, actually, the millennium started Monday from the African holiday. Because the African holiday, the New Year doesn't start until Sirius rises. And that starts the African New Year. The African New Year. And I got a lot of bibliography. I just got it in my head. So I don't necessarily have to have the books. I'll bring them tomorrow. So in actuality, the millennium just started Monday because Sirius rose on the 23rd. On the 23rd of this year, and it's a discrepancy when it rises, and still Sirius being the brightest star in the heavens, and the chief star known in all religions, from Christianity, Hindu, the Greek, the Egyptian, ancient Africa, Sumerian, everybody dealt with the star Sirius. And so, and even in Islam, you see what I'm saying? You even have it in the Quran. You see what I'm saying? This is the God of Sirius. You have it in the Book of the Dead. So basically, because it is the primordial star of all time, the African New Year, basically the ancient New Year around the ancient world didn't start until Sirius rose. And Sirius rose in the midsummer that started the actual New Year. It makes sense. After you got your bloom in the winter, your bloom in the spring, but midsummer is when everything really gets activated. And the sun and the earth was as close as it could be to Sirius. And Sirius is actually the father or either the mother of our particular solar system. So in actuality, the millennium is just starting. You see, these white boys, they study this stuff and they know all of this. You see what I'm saying? They know all of this. So it's very key that we are in this particular time right now. I got this rum and all because this empowers the actual spirits. As spiritos, and this, I guess this is, I just stepped across the street and bought it and all. We'll spit this 4 ways and all, to empower the spirits. But like I said, I got people that do this and spit it in their car 4 ways and then call on a certain spirit and end up driving without insurance for years. One sister spit it every morning, and when she got stopped, she gave some old insurance thing about 10 years old, and they told her to move right along. You also get that on the movie Star Wars. The movie Star Wars, you get that when they was telling them the checkpoint, when they was telling the stormtroopers, and Obi-Wan Kenobi told them, you're not looking for these particular droids, and they told them to move right along. It's the same thing, we talking about raising a certain energy, a certain spiritual energy and all. So the rum is always good for that and all. If you don't have water, rum is much stronger and all. And basically, there's a libation list that he has back there. And I think it's time, really, at this particular time in spiritual warfare, you should be trying to pour libations at least every day. At least every day before you go to work or if you don't work, any time will do. Or even after you get off before the day is out. Because this heightens a certain energy within your space, in your particular space. Like take for instance, this sister from New York called me. I used to go with her about 10 years ago, and we remain good friends. She lives in New York now, and she lives up in Long Island. She called, she said, well, wake up, you better wake up about 4 o'clock tonight, in the morning. And this was Wednesday. She told me to wake up 4 o'clock Thursday morning and say, just be aware. And I didn't wake up, but a blue light woke me up. And I looked out there and basically what had happened was there was a big, tall tree in my front yard that was directly in front of the house. And I mean, it was a big one of the big trees. And basically, it was straight up. But this particular tree, literally, that was supposed to fall back on my house, and if it fell on my house, it would have been some damage. It literally fell next door and hit the other people and fell into their front porch. And although it didn't really damage them, because by that time it was so, that they just got the top of the tree, the branches. But if it would have fallen on my thing, I would have got the actual bark of the tree, the actual bark of the tree. And so what happened here was, I knew when I saw it, and the people was looking again, wait a minute, was this tree crooked? Was this tree curved or something? They was like, man, I don't understand. And I knew then that what had actually happened was, it was the spirits that basically when the tree fell, you see what I'm saying? They just basically pushed it over to the other people's house. You see what I'm saying? The other people's house. And basically that's how this whole thing goes. You actually manipulate the universe, or you manipulate the physical realm around you. You see what I'm saying? You manipulate the physical realm around you when you basically you pour actual libation. So they have a libation list back there and all, a libation list. And and basically, I don't know what I'm going to try to do, but I'm going to do it at least, I'm not going to do the list, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to do at least, something called from the Congo, Africa, that I've been dealing with, the Congo rites. They call it Apollo Menombe spirits and all, so I'm going to, I think it's about 11 of them plus an additional seven. So I'm just going to pour to them right now, and then because I poured libations early today, we're going to have a long one later on tomorrow. And so you basically, if you heard it, just basically spit 4 ways. And then you can basically, that's some powerful stuff here. More like gin, hell. But anyway, basically you can pour, you can pour it in you can pour it in a glass and all. And basically, this is even stronger than water. So I'm going to call out these Congo rice. You ever put them on there? The Congo rice is on the list. The guy, he's selling these libation lists. Did you bring them all with you? Yeah, that's like $2, but he has a full-fledged, all of the actual entities that you can almost get your hands on. He has a list back there with all of them on there. And so let me call out the Congo rights. It's coming from Congo, Africa. And I'm going to go dealing deep with them also tomorrow and all, real powerful spirits and all. So it's about 11. I got to remember them. Let's see. Zarabanda.
Ashe.
Zarabanda.
Ashe.
Mama Shola, Madre de Agra, Madre de la Luna, La Santísima Muerte, La Santísima Piedra Iman, Francisco de Suichereyos, El Cristo Rey, El Cristo Negro, let's see, Madre de Agra, Madre de la Luna, San Simon, Mama Shola, okay, then there's Shumala, Otincha, Tiacha, Omagumu, and let's see, there's another one on. Okay, Kakambo, Kakeyo, Kakambo, and we want to deal with those, and also since we're dealing with the summer months, we want to give a shout out to the guy Sekhmet, and we'll that'll be sufficient right now, and then we'll pour another, because I poured a long level libation. I'm up to like 100 of these things a day, but then again, when you don't work, you can do that. No, I work basically on the weekends. But what happened was that this particular, and it actually kept my lights on, kept my gas on, kept my water on. I ain't paid the water in a year. And basically this is actually energy that you can use. So we have to, at this particular time, start becoming practitioners. And also, we can't be scared in our minds and all, looking at this particular stuff. We have to focus our minds to the stuff, that, put it in the subconscious that these things will actually work. Because so we're talking about a certain amount of energy that is now here. All the stuff that we was talking about that was coming is now here. You see what I'm saying? And so now we can access that actual energy. We can access that energy. And I happen to know that this is what's happening and all. I'm seeing unbelievable things like I might be up at the bus stop and all, since my girl booked up and took the automobile. I might be at the bus stop and I go, hey, send me a car right now. Send me somebody I know right now. Somebody pull up. You see what I'm saying? Somebody pull up. And I noticed when I used to do it before, it might take a couple of minutes. You see what I'm saying? And all, but one would always come. But now, I can tell that the energy is different because as soon as I say it, somebody pulls up. You see, so we talk about that kind of energy and that type of manipulating this particular physical that is drawn very weak. So, which is good. When the physical is weak, the spiritual is strong. You see, the spiritual is strong. So this is very key. This is very key right now to access that type of energy. So we can't just say that, this is something that's in the future. This is something that's actually here and something that's actually coming. You see what I'm saying? We got a lot of things that's going on right now. That, they was spraying some stuff in New York but last year, back in '99 called melathion. It was supposed to be for so-called quote-unquote West Nile virus. And I said, sooner or later, this thing is going to come down to Atlanta. And sure enough, they started announcing last week that they got to start spraying this melathion based on West Nile virus and all this type of stuff. And they say they found a cow and a dog and some animals with this thing. You see what I'm saying? But doggone well, it's no such thing. I mean, hell, right now you got certain medicines and stuff they take off the market. They say it's not safe. But all of a sudden they can just spray any kind of thing they want to spray. Now, apparently with the chemtrails, and they got a lot of good stuff on the internet on chemtrails now. And even to the point where as they say check the sky because it's not even a blue sky no more. It's not a real rich blue. It's almost like a pale blue or a gray. And it can be a gray sky and it can be sunshine outside. No clouds, it can be gray looking. That's because of the doggone chemtrails. You see, the chemtrails is basically this stuff that they drop in the air. And not only that, they say this stuff is changing the consciousness. You see what I'm saying? They say this stuff is changing the consciousness. Well, you better let her alone, because right now she done found a niche. She done found her a niche and stuff. But anyway, they say this stuff is changing the consciousness, it's changing all kinds of things. Now, I knew this also because I think it was in March. I went outside and was just out there for like 15 minutes talking to a person and walked back in the doggone house and was coming down with the flu. You see what I'm saying? And I knew it, and it didn't have anything to do with the actual person. The person didn't have flu, and I wasn't like in the open. I was basically secluded in the house for a couple of days. So I knew that it had to be the doggone chemtrails was also going down. And they was even saying that it's to the point where as it's even changing the consciousness, or why, as we say, why you got other people, you came in a certain amount of consciousness, you want to know things, but other people don't tend to want to know nothing. You see what I'm saying? So we can even say that they even got that kind of technology, chemical technology, to the point where they can drop the shit from the plane. You see what I'm saying? And your consciousness is a certain way. Your consciousness freezes. And so they got all types of things that's actually going on. Now, one of the keys here also is the whole Africa thing and the whole AIDS thing and all of this type of stuff. They got 75,000 people dying a month, with AIDS. But the key here is that they just announced in June that AIDS is rampant in the black community. But there's a key to this, and I believe, and I know this was actually happening because they did a thing on PBS one night that basically in the 60s, they could actually make up a bogus poll. and your mind believes that whatever the statistics that they're dealing with is reality. And once they do that, now they can make it reality. Like, take for instance, they talk about the fatherless home. The black man ain't in the home. But they did studies prior to the 1960s that said, well, all the black males was in the home. Where the hell else was they gonna go? You see what I'm saying? But in 1965, they had Johnson commission. I can't think of the name of this cracker. He commissioned this particular person to do a study on the black community, and they said that the black community, the black male was gone. But on the other hand, this was right before, or right during the same time they was doggone putting out their welfare, or they was issuing out the welfare where they said that the black man could not be in the home. So apparently they can give a statistic, you see what I'm saying, to manipulate the mind to make things reality. So on the other hand, you have this particular part here, whereas now they talk about the AIDS. But yet the CDC will come out and say, the AIDS is rampant in the black community. And we can't hide from all this no more. You see what I'm saying? But how do you know? You see what I'm saying? And I mean, my goodness, if the way they talking, we should know 60 or 70 people or 10 people, at least in our lives, that we know got AIDS. But that's just not reality. You see what I'm saying? That means that they can create that. And if you got one case that's got AIDS, you go, well, I know a person that's got AIDS. Yeah, it is rampant. You be dealing with that one person. It's about like the project thing. It's about like the project thing. You can make any reality happen. Most people right now, because they knew 2 people that they moved out of the projects, they swear out that the people from the projects was relocated. You see what I'm saying? Because our mind cannot take genocide. We're not programmed for that type of thing. And also, too, the mind control is so vast until right now, if the government don't give us the reality based on TV, based on the media, it does not exist. You see what I'm saying? So now they got this whole thing based on, but it's interesting here now, because see, now they're talking the AIDS thing. Now, but this is the key. They say that the CDC came out with the AIDS thing, or the AIDS epidemic, with these new findings in June. But it's only one thing. A year before, they had all the black preachers out here, and Jesse Jackson and all them, telling people to sign up and get tested for AIDS, and had all the black churches going to get into testing people for AIDS. You see what I'm saying? But but this is long before the CDC comes out with it, and it's letting you know that basically it's a campaign going on. They know that they're successful in Africa for just basically killing people. You see what I'm saying? We don't even know if it's even anything as AIDS, or whatever the deal is, they're just killing people and calling it AIDS. The key here is, whatever they were successful with, they can be successful now. And the damn thing about it is, we are so much in mind control when we talk about the masses. Yeah, we'll talk about the conscious people and all. Unfortunately, about people in consciousness. Unfortunately, we think when we get into consciousness, there's a whole bunch of people. It's in consciousness. No, when you get into consciousness, you get a certain amount of people around your group. In your circle is conscious. Those are people you interact with each day. You think it's actually a conscious America. But outside of that little group and stuff, it's only like 0 point something. You see, they say black people on the what's up, black people on the rise? Bullshit, black people ain't on no doggone rise. What time is this nation time? Nation my ass. You know what I'm saying? Most black people don't know they behind they ass from a hole in the ground. You see, and it's even worse, but the key here is the whole mindset. The whole mindset is this: the mind control is at a certain level now, that the masses of people are literally putting in the hands. And you gotta, like I said, you gotta get the movie Harrison Bergeron. Anybody saw the movie Harrison? Anybody got this movie Harrison Bergeron? Did you ever get a chance to see that? Harrison Bergeron, because the movie actually shows, if you get it, Harrison Bergeron, the guy Sean Austin played in the movie Rudy. Harrison Bergeron came out in 1994. 1990, yeah. Anyway, get that particular movie, because that movie shows what's going on in America right now based on mind control and everything else. But it's key. Harrison Bergeron was one of the only woke people in the doggone movie, and he's trying to talk to his father, And when he's trying to give his father some information, he's trying to give his father some information, and the next thing he knows, the father shuts out. He like it just shuts down. You see, and this is how it is if you notice people out here that's not conscious, or people that you're trying to doggone talk to, they can talk on a variety of anything. They can talk on whether old idiot ass damn Michael Jordan is coming back. They can give you all the information on that. As soon as you get into something conscious, you see what I'm saying? They just shut down. They get real quiet. So this is a form of mind control. That means that somebody is messing with the mind that is even programmed to the point. You see what I'm saying? To just basically shut down. You see? To just shut down whenever you say certain logical, rational things about the black race. You see what I'm saying? It's in the movie They Live. We have been taken over by an artificial intelligence that resembles sleep. It's in the movie They Live when they're talking to the man on the TV screen. And he's talking about this thing. We've been taken over by an artificial intelligence that resembles sleep. You see? It's very key on what's going on here. But now, on the other hand, what's going on is also this. They say when this thing happens, that lets you know that we are close to the truth. She done worked her way on over. That ain't no big deal. Give me some dab. But anyway, they say that when this happens, you know that we're close to the end. So I got a partner now. But anyway, we are dealing with that type of mind control. We're dealing with that type of mind control. Now she gonna play now. We're dealing with that kind of mind control. You see, and so it's not only that. We talking about a certain amount of consciousness that literally is actually resembling sleep. Literally resembling sleep. You know, so, I mean, but they also say when this particular thing happened, it would be prophesied that this particular stuff would happen at this particular dispensation of time. You see. Now, the alternative of this is there's some great things that's actually happening. Number one now, they pay up close attention because they got this thing, Mount Aetna, over in Sicily, Italy, that's erupted. You see what I'm saying? They say it erupts every 10 years, but they say every now and then when it erupts, like every so many hundred years, the whole town is covered. You see what I'm saying? They're paying close attention to this thing. It was even on Nightline last night. That's very key because Mount Aetna, number one, is a mountain in Greek mythology where you had the god Typhon. The god Typhon was encased under Mount Aetna. Now, if you trace the Typhon thing back, he's feared as the devil in ancient Kemet in later day Egypt. But when you go all the way back to pre-dynastic Egypt, Typhon represents the feminine energy, the great mother. So in India, they talk about the return of the Shakti power. That's the feminine energy. And all of a sudden, this volcano is erupting. But remember now, they talk about the earth is a feminine energy. They call it Gaia. They call it Mother Earth. You got different things where the earth is referred to, even in modern science, as Mother Earth. So you have this ancient Typhon. It's also Set Typhon, which is, it can be sometime in mythology it's male, and in mythology it's female. In Kemet, in Egypt, it's female, but in Greece, it's male. But either way, Typhon was encased under Mount Aetna when he was defeated by Zeus, which they're saying this particular entity can never be defeated, but it can be bound. Now, that's the feminine energy, or they call it Shakti power. Go see the movie Final Fantasy. That's the movie it's the computer-generated movie. And they're going to be talking about Gaia. And the earth being this energy that's in the earth that can save everything is this Gaia energy that the people in the movie, the scientific people in the movie, don't believe exists. But this girl is having dreams that this Gaia, this feminine energy, exists. It's the same Kundalini energy, a spiritual energy, the serpentine fire that's inside of us. The earth also has a Kundalini energy. And you get a book, Secrets of the Mexican Pyramids by Peter Tompkins, if you can find it. And then they talk about how the people in South America used to do a ritual to unleash the earth's kundalini energy, or their spiritual energy, or that particular serpentine fire in the earth is also inside of us. You see, they used to do a ritual to unleash that feminine energy. The key here is, they show that in the movie Final Fantasy, what they call the Gaia energy, but that energy, what you're seeing on that Mount Aetna, is that same energy that erupted right on time during the African New Year. You see. Now, what does this all mean? Based on the Greek myth, when this particular typhon is encased in under Mount Aetna, it is always believed that one day in the future, or one day at the end of the world, or one day at the end of this particular cycle, which is still the end of the world, the end of the physical matrix, that this typhon energy will be released, which is nothing but our own black energy. It's the same concept. When we get in question and answer, we can go deeper into that. But this particular energy will be released as the ultimate weapon, or the final solution for the crack ass. He always talking about his final solution. You see what I'm saying? And his final solution is always damn genocide. But what it is this doggone. Now remember now, the Gaia, this Mount Aetna, this shit is right in the paper. It's in the Charlotte Observer today on the front page. It's done wiped out a ski lodge. Now, the physical Mount Aetna is not to really look at. It's a symbol of something that's going to happen inside of us. So the key here is the earth will give off its energy, and you see that coming through Mount Aetna. You see, that ancient mountain, or that ancient volcano that goes back thousands of years. Thousands and thousands of years. It's been here since the beginning of the earth. The key here is, although Mount Aetna is erupting, it's talking about something that's the same energy that's erupting out of Mount Aetna is the same energy that's erupting inside of us. You see, that's one of the keys. That means that that mountain is the symbol of us getting our power back, or the power that's welling up inside of us that we don't know about. You see, this is very key on what's going on here. That's the reason every time they put it on Nightline, and it's on all the papers. It's on this a little bit on USA Today. The Michael Jordan story, he capped it, but it's also, I noticed it was in Charlotte Observer. You see what I'm saying? Which is very key. Which is very key because the whole Charlotte thing is a city of a black woman, as well as the key things here is also when we got that Vodun list, the new Vodun list, the voodoo list. One of the goddesses in there is Miss Charlotte. You see what I'm saying? Very key. I was wondering why. But then again, on the other hand, it was interesting because even Haiti, when they was putting the whole voodoo thing together, although that's French, Charlotte was a British queen, but then again, they must have knew that Charlotte was black. You see what I'm saying? They was actually giving her a shout out, or whatever the deal is when this thing was actually drafted. But the key here is, going back to this particular science, this whole Mount Aetna thing that is going on and all, is very major. It's major that this whole Mount Aetna thing is going on. Now, the last time it erupted was 1992, which was supposed to be the birthday of America. That whole birthday of Columbus, the whole Columbus thing. Columbus sailing the ocean blue, 1592 or whatever the deal is and stuff. But it erupted then in 1992. Now remember that same time of 1992 when it erupted was right at the same time as you got the whole LA riots thing that went on. A whole lot of shit went on in 1992. You see what I'm saying? Now all of a sudden, this thing erupts again. You see, very key what's going on. But this time it erupts right at the heart of the summer solstice because the whole Sirius rising thing. Now when these things rise, it don't rise on one day. When you get a rising, that's why you get a 7-day candle. The reason why you get the 7-day candle, they understand that nothing is like a calculated date where you have one day. Basically, when something rises, it takes the energy to get bigger and bigger and bigger. So in actuality, today, tomorrow, on into the end of July is still a part of the whole Sirius rising thing. And that's how this particular energy does. Usually when something happens and all, usually you give it at least 3 days to get some full max, to maximize on the actual energy, or give it a week, you see, to maximize on the energy. So there's a lot of things that's actually going on at this particular time. But one of the keys here is black people got to be at their worst point. That's the way, even in the book, the Messiah text, the guy Franz Kafka in the book says, when the Messiah comes, there will no longer be a need for one. Or in the movie, they also say, even in the Bible, they say that when this thing comes back, the last temple of Jerusalem has to fall. At this particular time, what it means here is the physical world has to be all there is to be left behind. All there is to the maximum of what the physical world can be. And you can monitor that based on the consciousness of black people. And we are at our worst level than we've ever been, period. Nothing seems to bother us. Nothing seems to bother us. And if you are into some type of thing, if you are in consciousness, it's a little lonely because you can't even talk to no damn body outside, you know what I mean? And literally, you got people, if they don't change the damn subject, they don't want to hear, but I mean, it's just that bad. But then again, that was all prophesied even in the gospel, in the book, the Gospel of Thomas, where it said, when your eyes are open, you will be troubled. But when you're in trouble, rejoice because the kingdom is at hand. It's also in the movie Dark City. The guy said, well, what the hell is going on? He said, every now and then one of us wakes up. You see what I'm saying? And he woke up and was going crazy, that the police officer, and then the guy in the movie Murdoch woke up and actually was the one that had to deal with the whole concept throughout the whole movie. You see what I'm saying? In actuality, the movie is identical to The Matrix. It was made a year before. It's just that although The Matrix was one of the best movies that ever was made on some of this subject and all, they had to clarify, they had to put the kung fu up in there, and they had to literally break it down to the least common denominator to get a general audience to understand what was going on. But prior to that, Dark City, you see what I'm saying? Dark City was the same movie, but it had a little more stuff going on in it that you had to literally deal with on the subconscious level, or you had to literally try to analyze. But they're basically the same movie. You see, they're basically the same movie. But Matrix was more popularized based on, they put certain things up in there because in this particular day, the government say, please, at this particular time, give it to them plain and simple. You see what I'm saying? Now, some people say, well, why would the government, or why somebody would make the Matrix? First of all, they say the Wachowski brothers or whatever these people. First of all, that's the damn government. You see what I'm saying? Say, well, why would they make that? They make it for two reasons. They make it to teach their people what time it is. And they also make it to monitor where our consciousness is. You see, they want to know whether you're looking at this as mere entertainment or whether you're getting something out of it. So they understand that we are sleeping giants walking around, like a chicken with the head cut off. But they want to know, they want to flush out the ones that are in a certain amount of consciousness, and they do things just to see. You see what I'm saying? To monitor. So they will give us certain things every so often. You see what I'm saying? Because on the other hand, they are walking around scared because they don't know when their time is up based on some secret type of spiritual people that wake up in the society. Whereas they had some people in someplace over in India, some part over in India or whatever. I can't think of what particular part. And these people was talking about, we are worshiping some hidden gods that's in America. Now the white man already know there ain't but one person that's the gods in America, and that's the original people. You see what I'm saying? So they say they know they ain't worshiping no crackers. You see what I'm saying? They know that they're worshiping the lost found nation in America. And these people did this thing, it was in 1998 or 1999, these people announced this, that they worship some hidden gods in America. You see. So my point here is they put out these particular movies to monitor to see where our doggone consciousness is. And in so many words, they don't have to be alone because they know that the only people that's conscious is the people who was conscious long before the movie came out. You understand what I'm saying? Long before the movie came out and stuff. You see, as well as other ones, there's several other movies. You see what I'm saying? Several other movies. What's that?
Why do you think it's so hard for our people to go see science fiction movies or movies that are dropping to that level?
Well, that's just a matter of programming. It's a matter of how we're programmed. Basically, in so many words, they program us from see, even the average black movie, even if you don't even say The Baby Boy, let's say like a movie that we think is just up to speed, like Soul Food, Best Man, and all this happening. And actually, the only thing they did was took the same old sitcom that you have on the regular TV show and just extended the shit for 2 hours. And you go see that shit, that's positive. See, they done have so much negative stuff come out until just when you see a movie that you think is positive, that don't mean nothing. Hell, I mean, what? But the movie don't challenge your fucking mind. So what happens here is they feed us things that never challenge our mind. So therefore, when we see something, we don't get it now because we're not trained to analyze. See, you don't realize it's just like it's not going to come to you, you got to come to it. And that's the problem. We don't come to it. You see what I'm saying? So what it is, it's a form of training. It's a form of training, and it's not. And this particular training, and this thing is very interesting because this particular training has nothing to do based on education. First thing we do, we look at somebody in the projects and all, and that's where we monitor to think that everything is all fucked up with everybody. But in actuality, the same mindset, don't give a damn if you got a doggone PhD or whatever, we got the same doggone mindset. You see what I'm saying? And we don't challenge that. It's just like this Baby Boy bullshit. Some people say, oh, it's a good movie. No, okay, it's a good movie. But it was a good movie 10 years ago as Boys in the Hood. You see what I'm saying? That means you ain't involved at all. But here's a nigga that did Rosewood in 97. You do Rosewood in 97, and this is a movie that don't get made, and then you come back 10 years later with some fucking Baby Boy. And although it's, oh, it was a great movie. No. You don't understand. That was a great movie for a mindset of 10 years ago. You understand what I'm saying? But see, the government says, and it's just like Yaman Hunsu said, now you think this is elite, but we don't understand the mindset. Yaman Hunsu said, well, wait a minute, hold on. You got more than one type of caliber of black people. Hell, you know one type of caliber of damn black people in your lifetime. But you would think if you was in China and you see Baby Boy, that's the only kind of nigga you gonna think that live in America. You understand what I'm saying? And we're not necessarily saying that's negative. But what I'm trying to say here is this here. When you look at white people, there's not one prototype of white people. You see what I'm saying? There's not one prototype of white people. So what happened is if the doggone image is wearing down, then they say, no, you got to produce some more of this shit right here because we got to go to Paris, France, and so the same fucking Baby Boy stuff that we did 10 years ago. It's the same, also it's in psychology, it's called archetypes. The people thinking that in actuality, when they see that movie, the people over in damn China, you see niggas riding around in the big old Mercedes and doing well, they got the big ass house, but over in China, they go, you know what, them niggas there ain't evolved since Boys in the Hood. They literally think that your life is that way. So they be like, wait a minute, them motherfuckers still doing the same bullshit. You see? They really think that your life is that way. Now what I'm trying to say is this here now, look. This is a whole farce, this whole hard ghetto bullshit, because niggas in the ghetto, believe it or not, ain't ghetto in the aspect of what you think it is. Now, let me tell you what I'm trying to say here. We had some sisters come from England. Some sisters come from England in 98. They had been trained of Black America based on the rap video. So we was hanging out with these sisters. We was taking them to clubs. You don't want to go to them clubs, them bougie ass niggas. I'm like, wait a minute. These are the only clubs we ever had. Them regular ass niggas. Excuse the expression, you know whatever. We bring the caliber of Negroes. Them little bougie ass niggas. I'm like, wait a minute. These are regular black people. But see, they was thinking that everything got to be just like the damn video. They thinking that everybody got to be a fucking juvenile. And they don't understand that fucking juvenile ain't juvenile. juvenile got more money than the average motherfucker. He might make that rap shit, but he ain't living in no damn shit with no 40 ounce. You understand what I'm saying? This nigga chilling in a fat crib. You see? But they thinking that the actual video is the actual culture. You see what I'm saying? They don't even know that in actuality, really, black people don't even live that damn way. Hell, the average black person in the projects is richer than half the people on the damn planet in doggone other cultures. Like John Superior said, I ain't never stepped in a black person's house who ain't had an up-to-date stereo, TV, VCR, microwave, refrigerator, none of that shit. You better not fuck with a black man meat. You see what I'm saying? And if the nigga was on food stamps, he had more money, he had more food at least, than the average person out here working that wasn't on food stamps. You see what I'm saying? So my point here is that whole thing here is, when you talk about that, so the girls was from England, they was like, we don't really like it here. I'm like, wait a minute, hold the fuck up. Y'all copying the whole thing from America, you mean to tell me you don't like it? Well, we thought it was going to be different. You see, but see, that's the mind control that they got all over the world. That there's one prototype of black people. You understand what I'm saying? There's one prototype of doggone black people. Your mama don't even resemble that shit. You see what I'm saying? And it ain't got nothing to do with no money. You see? But see, so what it is they got to keep the bullshit going. You see, they got to keep the bullshit going. Whereas these white people movies is getting more and more sophisticated. You see, but then again, you see in 2001 millennium, you see a damn baby boy. And some people say, oh, that's reality. No, nigga. That's not the only reality there is. Everybody don't live in doggone South Central LA. You understand what I'm saying? You got niggas from Alabama, Louisiana, Florida. You know? You got McDonald's, you got all different types of people. And it don't necessarily mean that these people are not pro-black. You got some people that live in Oregon. You got some people living down Denver. You see what I'm saying? We was never one monolithic people. As a matter of fact, in the 70s, there was a difference between a brother from Philadelphia and a brother from New York. And a brother from D.C. And you could tell, at that particular time, you could tell where somebody geographically was from based on the way they dressed, based on the way they talked. They had something different about them. But see, now, with one craze, it's the same prototype all around the country. You see what I'm saying? That's all a form of social engineering and mind control. That means the man wants you to be a certain way because he wants to portray you a certain way all over the world stage and all over the world, all over the entire world, and what they call a worldwide web or whatever this shit is, you see. So that's one of the keys that's actually going on. So you best believe that the baby boy thing, because I'm like, well, damn, wait a minute. Ain't we tired of this shit? I'm like, this shit is already done. You get this, you know what I'm saying? Then you back on the same thing. You see, and then not only the whole lingo, the whole baby boy, but it's just like the guy Yaman Hunt who said, he said, well shit, I live in America and I got black friends, but I don't resemble that particular person in South Central LA. And that's reality. You understand what I'm saying? Now my point is I'm not necessarily saying that particular reality didn't exist. But my thing, you don't have to make no goddamn 17 movies on this shit. Over the course of working 10 years and think in actuality, you know what I'm saying? Well, what about something else? And see, that's what my man on Bamboozle was saying. He was doing his hustable thing. He said, oh, that's old now. We don't want to hear no black people or whatever. He said, okay, then I'll tell you what, I'll give you some minstrel show and I guarantee you black people will love it. And that was the whole thing Spike Lee was trying to say. Them niggas gonna love the same minstrel show we give them. And sure enough, the white people was in the movie, they was kind of scared to clap on Bamboozle. Them niggas was going on the next thing, you know, white people say, well, fuck it, if they love it, we love it too. You see, so they was actually showing that they can doggone mind control, they can give you what the hell they want and make you love it. You see what I'm saying? But this is, so in actuality, the whole baby boy thing is demographics. Not demographics for us, but demographics for the rest of the world. In Spain, they gonna see fucking Tyreek. You see what I'm saying? Tyreek. You see, it's the same old bullshit that's going on. It's the same old bullshit that's going on. You see, you don't even resemble half that man. I'm